Everyone, happy Tuesday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Tuesday, October 24th, 2023. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first card in our 5-card spread? First card we are starting our day off with today. We love to see this bad boy. We are starting off today with our King of Cups energy. Don't let me hear that this is not a productive eclipse season, because this is a productive eclipse season, because this is what we are finding right now. Beautiful energy coming through right now, specifically for the masculine energy. We also really appreciate this right now, because what we're really seeing is there is a balancing that is occurring right now in the masculine energy collective, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to as it relates to your own feminine side. Masculine energy, this could be coming to a space or place of balance as it relates to carrying the vulnerability required to feel the emotions that you are feeling. This could also be occurring right now because we are seeing for a lot of the masculine energy right now, there is a separation point. You may be feeling right now that you're trying to come forward towards a feminine that is pulling away from you because something about your actions didn't necessarily match your words or what you're trying to communicate. Masculine, this may be feeling like some internal journeying that you're doing right now that is allowing you to really get to the heart of what you are feeling to be able to determine how to navigate forward from this point. Now, masculine and feminine energy that is in divine union and divine partnership, this is potentially the gift that the partnership brings to you, masculine, that you're finding that you are in a partnership where it is safe and available for you to be able to healthfully express your emotionality and know that you are supported. And it is allowing you a point of finding that deeper inner balance, i.e. some of that moon card energy that we've been experiencing as it relates to a feminine energy that doesn't necessarily push you in this degree, but just leaves you the space and place to be open as you need to be. Feminine, you may be experiencing this on the side of the masculine energy that you yourself are in divine union and partnership with. This is why the feminine energy is almost okay with withdrawing from the masculine to a certain extent in divine union and partnership, because there's almost this feeling of conscientiousness of the feminine recognizing that this is an energy that will come forward when they're ready. Yesterday was not a great day for the masculine to make that emotional connection with feminine because of some of the overwhelm. Today may be a day where the masculine is really unpacking their emotionality to feminine in divine partnership and divine union. Masculine and feminine energy that are either trying to come into partnership or separation right now, this is going to feel like and it's going to, I have to stress, it may feel a little vulnerable today, masculine, because again, this is a moment of coming to terms with your emotions, really getting to the heart of what you are feeling. We are effectively identifying, especially for the masculine energy that was in partnership right now, you may be feeling to a certain extent that there's a feminine energy that is pushing back on you because they feel like they observe something wherein you chose the energy around you as opposed to them. There was something that felt like a choice, and the feminine was observing you making that choice. And that's why I was stressing to the masculine to make sure that you are doing it in connection with feminine, because feminine energy, if you were trying to do that in isolation, feels like that choice of making that isolated choice was the confirmation that you are keeping the energy around you right now, your circle of influence, having a higher priority than the feminine energy's connection with you right now. And masculine, this may be requiring a moment of internal journeying to really ask where your heart is at this time. Potentially because you're seeing here that there's something about coming back into contact or coming into union with the feminine energy that you really understand is going to require some deep changes. And being able to just articulate about how you're feeling right now isn't going to be enough. This is why it's almost like you going into this exploration of the self right now to really understand and identify how you feel so that you can conduct yourself appropriately going forward. Feminine, if you are in separation right now, this is effectively what you are trying to manifest in separation. This is what's allowing you right now to heal any unhealed karmic connections that you are moving away from. It is the idea of the space and place of manifesting masculine energy that is already in alignment with the feminine. I identified over the last few days that feminine was reaching a point of understanding that they cannot bring the masculine energy into this modality at this point. They have to find a masculine energy that is committed to taking this journey for themselves. This is why we see a lot of feminine energy potentially moving back into separation right now, because this is the moment that the feminine energy is potentially even looking at situations or circumstances where they may feel a lot of passion or a lot of emotionality to certain connections with masculine, but they're effectively saying that if the masculine energy isn't committing themselves to the path of finding this balance in within, this isn't something that the feminine energy can force them to. They can't force this spring, and that is why the feminine energy is effectively pulling away from some things right now as they work to just manifest an energy that is already actively in this modality. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, second card in our 5-card spread for today is, what did I say about moving on? Feminine energy is allowing cycles to close right now. A lot of feminine energy is potentially coming into separation or going into divine union, and it all depends on the openness and the vulnerability of the masculine energy at this time. Why are we identifying this? Because we saw that for the feminine energy, either both in separation right now or partnership, there was a point of observation, particularly for energy trying to come into partnership at this time, where feminine may have been asked by masculine to step back a little so that masculine could do something for the sake of the partnership. Feminine may have even said to masculine, sure, I'll be happy to do that, but feminine didn't mean, sure, I'll be happy to do that. Feminine was effectively using that as a moment of feeling like they saw the fact that this is a masculine energy that did not want to collaborate with them, but instead was trying to navigate around them, as it were. Masculine energy was effectively called to task yesterday by the feminine withdrawing. That point of withdrawing from the feminine was almost an inarticulate way for the feminine to say to the masculine, I need you to come forward and be honest right now. Give me the full clarity of what is going on around you. Show me the ability that you have that capacity and ability to express yourself from a very vulnerable place so that we can collaborate. Or feminine's effectively saying to masculine, I am off. I am completing this cycle. It is with a heavy heart and a heavy burden. The feminine is moving in this direction, but feminine is doing what they feel is necessary because they are seeking out energy that recognizes how to do this. So for some of the masculine, this is either you coming into this, almost recognizing, feeling that pull away yesterday, identifying that this was a feminine where you would have to open up in a way that you haven't opened up before to help the feminine energy come back from something where they were losing trust in you. Or masculine energy and separation, you are coming to terms with the fact that you recognize now that you made a choice that you may not have necessarily recognized that you were making at the time of making it. Why? Because as I identified, what we saw happening over the last few days was the fact that masculine energy, even if you said you were doing it for the sake of the feminine, you may have tried to do something without being completely transparent to the feminine. What you may have recognized yesterday is whatever you were trying to do without clarity, the feminine already knew about. That is why I was stressing to you not to make sure that you weren't doing that, because this is something that there was no hiding something from this feminine. Feminine was in a point where they had that understanding, either on that internal intuitive level or via the process of elimination, seeing what you are doing by what you are not showing them. This is again a moment that is now requiring you to completely open up, to be absolutely honest, to be completely articulate, to allow some new path to open that you now realize is going to take time because this energy is no longer in a space or place where they completely trust you. Or this is a moment where you're recognizing that your choice to do that was effectively one that you distanced the feminine energy, that you made the choice to preserve your social energy, the energy of your immediate environment, that was something that you recognize now was the choice that you made, and you're trying to balance your emotions as you recognize the fact that you've kind of already set yourself on this path, that there's something here that you may be feeling right now like you can't unring this bell, as it were. Masculine and feminine energy in partnership right now, this is the strength of the partnership at this moment. Masculine, you're feeling the beauty and the enjoyment of potentially opening up, discovering sides of yourself that you may not necessarily have even discovered. It could feel like a very emotional day for the masculine energy, especially if you're in partnership right now, but the strength of the partnership itself is what's allowing you to come into a better sense of balance as it relates to your own emotionality. Almost further strengthening the bond itself, almost further confirming that this is the choice that this is the road that you want to go down, through thick or thin. It's not the fact that it's not without difficulty, but this is the masculine almost saying that the weight, the value of the gift that you're finding, the chalice of the self within the self, that the energy is bringing you, is like worth any adversity or any hurdle that may come in between. Feminine, you may be seeing and also feeling this right now if you're in divine partnership or divine union, being able to be in alignment with a masculine energy that, again, even while yesterday may have shown the fact that the masculine energy was more kind of all over the place, this is that masculine energy almost like emotionally regulating and almost opening up to you about what they were experiencing yesterday. And that in itself is further helping you in this way because you're feeling the support of the masculine energy being in balance with their own feminine energy that is further confirming your own choice in proceeding down this path. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Third card in our 5-card spread for today is beautiful energy right now if you are in divine partnership and divine union. Because if you're moving, if this is a moment that you're coming into divine partnership and divine union, this is reinforcing, it's strengthening the bond itself. Masculine, you are discovering the spaces and places in the union, seeing sides of yourself that you may not necessarily have experienced before. This is feminine energy that isn't walking away in those moments, but basically saying, I am here. This could even be a moment for masculine where you're sharing things to feminine energy that you may not have felt even comfortable sharing in the past. But what you are being impressed about is the fact in the divine union and partnership, you are seeing the fact that this is a feminine that is shocking you by the amount that they can hold. That this is not something that is going to break the partnership. In fact, it's almost creating a space or place where you're recognizing that the more open, the more vulnerable you are to the feminine energy in your divine partnership and your divine union is almost reinforcing to you how much you want this and the direction that you guys are going together. Feminine, you are also potentially feeling this right now. You are potentially experiencing the fact that understanding that the masculine energy opening up to this degree is the weight that the masculine's carrying. It's hard for the masculine energy to do this, but you're doing everything you can to help facilitate this because it's really helping continue to confirm and steer your path forward from this point. Masculine and feminine energy that is trying to come into divine partnership and divine union right now. One of the difficulties and hurdles that we're effectively experiencing is this is more of that make or break point that we're effectively seeing at this time. Because again, this is either a masculine energy. I warned you guys that this might happen. Particularly if this was a masculine energy that was trying to come into union with the feminine, but did not want to be completely open and honest about the accommodations that need to be made right now in their own life that they're trying to make accommodations for to allow the possibility of this divine union energy to occur. This is a moment that we saw potentially a huge breakdown occurring yesterday as it relates to the masculine suddenly realizing that there wasn't necessarily something completely copacetic between you and this energy, that in fact, there feels like this energy is withdrawing from you, potentially even having this thank you for the gift, feeling like this feminine energy knows something that you didn't share with them because I was trying to tell you during this eclipse season that they do. This is a feminine energy that's deeply in connection with their intuition right now. They're able to build up what they need to see, even through the spaces and places of what they can't see at this time. Masculine energy that's in this modality, you're potentially recognizing that this is occurring, that there is literally only one path forward now. To be able to restore any connection with an energy that you may have tried to have this somewhat obfuscation on right now. It would require you to be completely open, to completely divulge, to allow yourself to find, it's almost like creating an internal upgrade that is required right now because it's effectively forcing you to have to show a side of yourself to the feminine. Not only to express how you feel, but to express why you move the way you did, to help them understand and articulate what you are truly meaning to do versus what they see, and what also you see that they recognize may easily have been misinterpreted. And that for the masculine energy in this modality right now, we see that one of two different things are occurring. This is you either moving into divine union right now, taking this, accepting this, recognizing that this is a step that you need to take, completely opening up to this energy to be able to really show the energy, I am willing to do whatever is necessary to come into union and partnership with you, even the hard work of making these accommodations within the self, thereby allowing there to be a possibility of that divine union and partnership occurring. While for the other part of the masculine energy right now, this is the moment of recognizing that the point that you made as it relates to blocking off or hiding something from feminine was effectively your decision. You may be coming to terms with that decision now. You may be seeing the full import about why the way you moved did not feel like it was in line with what you were saying that you wanted at this time, because we're seeing that for a lot of the masculine energy, this was a moment that the feminine feels like you chose your world. You chose the environment around you. You chose the comfort and the easement of the world versus making something uncomfortable to bring the feminine in. And this is a moment that you may also feel like you need to close a cycle right now, because you are identifying that you're already on this path. You're already on this path. You chose your world as opposed to coming into connection with your heart's desire. And you're just trying to make the best of it as you navigate forward from this point. Continuing to get clarification on this card right now. Fourth card in our 5-card spread is, here it is again. If this looks familiar, it's because we ended the reading yesterday with this card. This is a complete continuation, a seamless integration of yesterday's messages with today's messages. And this is that moment. Feminine and masculine that are either in separation at this time, or feminine or masculine energy that is effectively trying to come into partnership. This is the source of the conflict right now. This is why feminine energy is potentially walking away from masculine right now and not looking back, because this is a feminine energy that is effectively articulating to a masculine right now that may be opening up to them or trying to open up to them about how they feel, and is potentially trying to say to the masculine the same exact message that she was trying to communicate yesterday. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. The feminine is saying it again. They're reiterating. This is a masculine potentially saying, I care about you. I love you. And this is feminine turning to the masculine and saying, I know you care about me. I know you love me, but you also keep secrets from me. You also hide things from me. You don't give me you don't put things, you don't shine a light on being in an experience with you. You make it as hard as possible to be in an experience with you, which is preventing the ability to move forward. This is effectively why the feminine energy, masculine, you may be seeing the feminine walking away from you right now, and you're trying to open up to them and saying, I'm trying to be absolutely honest at this time. And this is a feminine energy that is pointing. And this is why I said to the masculine energy, please, 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 don't do anything right now trying to obfuscate it. Don't move from a space of autonomy if you're doing it for the sake of a partnership, because the feminine is saying, you don't understand what divine union is. If you feel you need these many secrets, then you don't desire divine union. You're just moving for yourself. You're just doing these things for yourself. And this is feminine energy saying, I'm moving off to find someone that recognizes the difference between making choices from a point of autonomy versus making choices, being open and transparent and moving together. This is why it's a hard departure for the feminine, because it is not from a lack of love. It is not from a lack of care. This is a feminine energy that is saying to a masculine, I can't show you what a divine union is, but your actions are showing me that you don't understand it, nor do you want it. Masculine, this is what I'm saying right now. This is either a moment, if you're trying to come into partnership right now, that you're realizing that you need to wipe the slate completely clean. There's only one path now available to you as it relates to potentially preserving or fixing a partnership that has reached this level or degree during this eclipse vacancy, between this darkness between eclipses, which is you have to shine light. There's something here, and it may feel like something fundamentally shifting in you, because you're looking at something right now and saying, you need to change everything about the way you do something. You have to come into a space of being honest to a degree that you may have never even considered possible before, because this is a feminine energy that has caught you, that has found you at a point where you might not necessarily have been that forthright. They are showing it to you. They're saying you have to account for this. It doesn't matter how you feel. You have to account for this. And masculine, this is either going to lead for you continuing on that divine union path, i.e., opening up about things that you've never felt possible to open up with before. Again, literally shifting into this new modality of coming into better alignment with your feminine self by becoming this vulnerable. Or this is you recognizing that you are preserving your secrets. Those secrets are your own life. Your secrets are what you consider around you right now. This was a feminine that saw you try to make an accommodation point without revealing to them the full breadth of what was happening around you. And this is a moment that you're effectively conceding and saying, I understand why they're walking away. I understand why they're walking away. I understand that I made my choice by doing this, by moving in this vibration, and you're just potentially coming into a space or place where you're trying to make yourself come to balance, to come into easement within the self as it relates to the choice that you've effectively made, i.e. moving back into separation. Feminine, if you're doing this work right now, this is, again, potentially a hard release process, but you're not standing for any of these points of effusication. You're effectively articulating to a masculine energy, if they're trying to come from a place of emotionality, saying, I know you care about me. Your love is not the point. The point is what you do with that love, and whether you move in a space or place where you're trying to keep secrets or hiding things, or if you're trying to be a true partner, which is we do things together. Together, we make choices together, i.e. divine union. Masculine and feminine energy today, if in partnership, masculine energy, you may be doing a lot of unpacking today with the feminine. Feminine energy, you just may be feeling right now that you have to create a lot of space for this masculine. Masculine was all over the place yesterday. Yesterday was a very hard day for masculine energy, even in partnership. Masculine is effectively unpacking a lot of the stuff that may have risen up yesterday to the feminine. And again, feeling the reinforcements of a feminine that can effectively take this. It's almost creating a space or place where the secrets that are being revealed are becoming the secrets of the partnership. It's not that there aren't things that are hidden. It's that the partnership is invigorated because this is a space or place where even the secrets become shared. This is that clearing of kind of getting to the underbelly of each other, finding out things that no one else knows about one another, feeling the confidence in opening up in that capacity and degree. Fifth card in our 5-card spread for today is, we have here King of Swords in its reversal. And again, masculine energy, we still see that whatever happened yesterday, masculine energy, you were going through a lot of different shifts yesterday. Even for the energy in partnership right now, there could be a moment of some anxiety, some doubts, or feel some revelation energy coming towards you right now in partnership. There may be something that is coming up in the masculine right now that is a little overwhelming. It might even be feeling a little frightening. It's almost revealing parts of yourself that you haven't necessarily seen before. But again, the power and the strength of the partnership energy is the fact that the partnership creates an environment that is allowing for this type of unpacking. It's allowing for this type of opening. This is a masculine energy that's like feeling the anxiety in recognizing that you're just starting to plumb the depths of your own vulnerability. And the partnership is effectively creating a space or place where you feel like you can do that effectively, i.e. the divine union. Feminine, you may be seeing this on the part of the masculine. You may be feeling right now that a lot of the masculine spheres are coming to the surface as it relates to some of these secrets that are coming out within the masculine and you sharing together. This could be a moment right now where you may be feeling like you have to give a lot of confidence to a masculine that's feeling a lot of anxiety as some of this stuff coming up from the bottom is rising to the surface, i.e. that scorpionic energy coming through in the midst of the darkness between eclipses. Masculine and feminine energy that is trying to come into partnership. Again, this is that moment that is creating a real struggle point for the masculine at this time, because this is a feminine that is effectively potentially withdrawing from you at this time. What the feminine may be revealing, and again, this could be feeling like a bit of a shocker for the masculine energy in this modality, is feminine is calling attention to something that they feel that you overtly did not be completely clear on. or that you're continuing not to be completely clear on. Feminine energy isn't trying to probe the depths of the secret or the uncertainties here. The feminine energy is just observing them and utilizing them right now as all the indication that they need to walk away from something. Masculine, you may be feeling right now that the feminine energy is making you have to hold some level or degree of accountability. The problem here is you're potentially recognizing that the only way to give clarity on this is to actually give clarity on it, because what the feminine has brought up is in fact something that you have not been completely, fully open and honest about, i.e. what I warned you about doing over the last few days. This is a moment that, again, it is the make or break point that we are seeing that the energy is now coming into divine union, or it is separating back into separation, because this is a moment that is requiring the masculine energy to be completely open and honest, almost creating an upgrade feeling in terms of the masculine reaching a level of vulnerability that they haven't before in the presence of feminine, and it's feeling very frightening to do so. Because in order to reveal this level or degree of openness, to come from this state or space of openness, is requiring the masculine to feel like they're revealing parts of themselves that they don't typically reveal to others. For some of the masculine energy, you are recognizing that this is exactly what you need to do right now to come into divine union. That this is a feminine that's effectively saying to you, I know this is not like any relationship you've had before. I'm trying to bring you into a better relationship experience than any that you've had before. I need you to be open so that we can work together to bring you into that experience. While for the other part of the masculine energy, this is going to feel like a bridge too far. This is a moment for the masculine energy trying to come into partnership right now, that you are weighing your own desire to come into balance with your own feminine, to be able to be in a state or space where you are coming into that level of vulnerability that you haven't before. And for the masculine seeing this, there could be a point that you're recognizing here that there's something that you haven't even seen or experienced because you haven't allowed yourself this level of vulnerability. You're almost seeing now. You're getting a peek behind the curtain that the feminine's like, I'm trying to bring you into a world that you haven't recognized exists yet if we were working together. But this is also you pushing against your own fear. It's your own fear that is standing in the way of this, because there has to be a point where you unburden yourself of these secrets, that you open up in a capacity. For some of the masculine energy, this is going to be a bridge too far, and you are recognizing the fact that you're holding these secrets. You're just kind of coming into a point of trying to balance yourself, because you're effectively saying, I'm choosing my secrets. I'm choosing holding on to these things over my heart's desire right now. Feminine could be seeing this on the part of the masculine and being like, recognizing that that's happening too. But feminine effectively saying, I'm not sticking around for it. It breaks feminine's heart as well, because feminine seeing the masculine being like, I know you care about me, but you don't care about me enough to be completely honest. You don't care about me enough for us to be on the same team. You're still trying to keep these things from me. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our King of Cups in combination with our Ten of Wands. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now. There she is again, my guys. She looked familiar. We saw her yesterday. She's back here. These are all the same cards. When I am saying to you, please don't be lying to your feminine energy. I am begging you right now not to be lying to your feminine energy. They know. I'm even going to stress right now, God help any masculine energy right now, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. I'm going to say it again. Please do not feel at this moment, masculine energy, that if the feminine energy has caught you in a deception or caught you in some kind of lie of omission, for the love of all that is holy, please do not double down on that today. Because if you double down, you're probably not even going to get a response from this energy. You're probably not even going to get a response from this energy, because this energy is literally going to watch you do it. This is a feminine energy that is not in a place or a space where they feel like they need to be convinced. This is a feminine energy that feels like they know everything they need to know. They've seen everything they need to see, which is why this feminine energy is so willing to walk away, even from a masculine right now that is emotionally opening up to them, because it just looks like a song and dance to the feminine right now. It's almost the feminine being like, what are you doing? I see what you're doing. This is absurd. That's why we see here, and again, masculine and feminine energy, this is either the moment. We're going to see a lot of energy right now that is potentially today the chance and the possibility of actually coming into divine union and partnership. I'm actually going to say this is very high today. This is very high because there's an observation that's effectively happening right now for the masculine energy in this modality that you're effectively recognizing and seeing the fact that this feminine energy knows something. They seem to know something that you don't know. They seem to be not stressing and chasing after you. They're just taking things the way that they are. There could even be a moment today that the masculine decides to open up to the feminine about stuff, and feminine's going to respond and say, I know. And masculine's going to be like, you know? And she's going to be like, I know. I've been seeing it for weeks. Whatever you think you've been hiding from me, the feminine's response is effectively going to be right now, trying to come into divine union and partnership. I know. I just needed to see that you could tell me. I needed to see. The feminine is waiting on the masculine right now, going, I needed to see that you would take the risk, that you would be open, that you would completely open to me, so that we could have some path forward. The feminine that sees that right now from the masculine will take that as confirmation that the change necessary is possible. That there's a masculine energy here that though there may have been moments in the past where they have not necessarily been as forthright, this is now a masculine that is showing the ability. This is like the zebra changing their stripes and feminine going, thank God. Thank goodness you're finally showing me that you can do this. There's a path, there's something here that can be saved. For the other part of the feminine energy, if you're seeing that, or you're seeing feminine is looking at a masculine that's either continuing to double down on a lie that they see or an obfuscation, or refusing to acknowledge it as an energy that is moving too much from a fear mentality. And that's why the feminine energy is feeling a lot of disappointment at this moment, but also giving themselves the conciliation of saying, I need to move forward. I need to continue down this path for myself, because feminine is saying, I need to manifest masculine energy that's on this path with me. I can't make someone be on the path. I just need to observe and acknowledge when they're not. Masculine and feminine energy in partnership, this is the beauty of the partnership. Masculine energy feeling like you can be your most authentic, vulnerable sense of self with this feminine that is not moved by it, that does not react to you being in a place of being in alignment with your emotional energy, but instead recognizes the power and also like creates a level or degree of insight that is helping you further yourself in this. Feminine is feeling the emotional support from masculine to continue on their own spiritual journey right now. This is that battery effect that we love to see in divine partnerships that is allowing for a completion of old patterns and moving in this new vibration. This is going to feel like a lot of like old cycles, new beginnings, even in the partnerships right now. You'll remember I even described that before this eclipse that was happening, there was a lot of like subconscious pulling back of energy for energy and divine union and partnership. This is why, because you're heading down new avenues together, and this is the completion of old patterns as you explore new ones together. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our 10 of Wands in combination with our Chariot. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with Hangman in its reversal. This is a feminine energy. If in separation, this is what we're seeing. The feminine energy is done. The feminine energy is effectively saying they feel like they've taken something as far as they can take it. This is a feminine energy that's in partnership right now. That's effectively looking at masculine and saying to them effectively, like if this was a relay race, this is feminine saying to the masculine, I've taken this as far as I can from a point of autonomy. Even if you've been in partnership or something that feels like partnership right now, this is the feminine observing the difference between the energy that says that they're together versus an energy that they feel the power and import of a divine union. And this is effectively a feminine that is looking to the masculine right now and saying, Are you showing the ability for us to work together as a team? Or are you not? And there's no question here. This is the feminine energy during this eclipse season, closing the cycle. If someone is hiding or keeping secrets from the feminine, feminine is observing that as an energy that is too cowardly. Even if they're saying they're doing it for the benefit of the feminine, it's feminine saying, I'm off to find someone right now that recognizes that we don't operate in the space of keeping secrets or obfuscations from one another. Feminine's just releasing themselves of these bonds. A lot of energy going into separation right now. A lot of energy going into divine union. A lot of energy is seeing the opposite right now, the masculine energy for the feminine, if they are unburdening themselves. If they are unburdening themselves, if they're coming forward, if they're giving the feminine a higher degree of openness, if they're showing them fully, clearly, everything that they've been hiding from this point, this is that moment that the feminine is experiencing and seeing confirmation that there's something here that can become easier, that there is a path forward. Masculine, you're effectively feeling the weight of this today, potentially, if you're trying to come into partnership with feminine. Because again, you're seeing that this is a feminine that is completely ready to walk away. They may have even brought up something to you recently that you now recognize that you have no other articulation point for, because there's something here that was not brought or shed in the light of day. This is that moment that you are again feeling the experience of having to unburden yourself of what you've been carrying and not showing the feminine at this point. Or this is a feminine energy that effectively is saying to you, you already made your choice. You made your choice, you kept your secrets, you chose those secrets over the partnership. And this is you effectively recognizing that this is a feminine that is moving away from you, and you're trying to come into a point of easement as you recognize that you feel that there's something here that you can't restore. That you're feeling here that this isn't necessarily a feminine that's even leaving themselves open and available for this right now. Or feeling like the level or degree required to be open with is one that you yourself can't navigate and manage at this time. It's a bridge too far. And therefore, you're also kind of moving away from something. But again, feeling the frustration because, again, it's not from a lack of care here. It's from an energy that you're seeing is walking away, and you're potentially even trying to articulate to them and say to them, there's still something here we can fix. And this energy is saying there's only one way we can fix this. Masculine and feminine energy, the whole reason the partnership is so important right now is the fact that you feel like you don't need to operate in a space or place of secrets. This is even a masculine right now that's opening up to feminine in new ways and feeling the empowerment even while they feel some fear in doing so. But it's just further strengthening the partnership because it's just more of a reminder that this is a partnership that can experience and adapt and acclimate for anything that comes up. It's not going to break the partnership. It's just making it easier as you proceed forward. And we almost see here that there is something here that feels like there's some kind of change happening in divine unions and partnerships that is creating a sense of easement today as you go forward from this point. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Huge cards we are seeing today. Huge cards between our Chariot and the Moon card. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with, this is it. This is our 10 of Cups in its reversal. This is that moment. Again, this is the make or break moment for the energy that is potentially trying to come into divine union right now. Because what we are effectively seeing is this is that moment. Feminine is looking to masculine. And effectively may even be articulating this to the masculine energy, saying, I want a future with you. I wanted a future with you. I'm not moving away from this because of a lack of a desire to have a future with you. But you know what we cannot have? We cannot have the future that I desire. The feminine is saying to the masculine, we cannot have the future that I aspire to with all of these secrets around us, with all of these things that are hidden. There's no possibility for this and this to cohabitate. And this is why the feminine is saying to the masculine, I am either moving away from this or you shed light on the secrets. You give the clarity that I'm seeking, that I need to see. It's the only possibility we're seeing here of anything being able to come back into a state of healing. Feminine, if you're not seeing this right now, this is feminine moving on to new opportunities, new possibilities, feeling the sadness and the weight of feeling like they're walking away from something, but also acknowledging that they're feeling more about the fact that the frustration of not necessarily being able to find that long-term future goal there, it's not on them. And it's almost frustrating because the feminine may even realize right now that there's some things that they don't even know fully. This is a feminine energy that's walking away, not because they have full clarity, but they're seeing enough confusion, they're seeing enough obfuscation that they recognize that something isn't being shown to them to the full degree that they would ideally aspire to. And this is the only thing that's going to be more of a pain point as they move forward, feeling like they're lacking this level or degree of clarity from what they're walking away from. Masculine, if you're trying to come into partnership with feminine today, this is effectively, again, that feeling that is going to feel like a bit of a make or break point, because this is, again, you are watching. You are potentially literally watching a feminine energy move away from you right now. You are watching them move away. You understand potentially why they are moving away from you. They're articulating to you. They may articulate in one shape or form that there's something here that they asked for clarity on, and you have been resistant, reluctant, or flat out refusing to provide. There was even potentially a moment over the last few days that we saw that you were trying to potentially do some things to recalibrate some energy around you right now to better accommodate this energy without being completely upfront to them that you were doing so. This is now creating a bit of an impossible moment for you if you're feeling this, because you're feeling the anxiety of both having to shed light on what you're now recognizing is going to feel like an intentional thing that you kept from the feminine, i.e., again, the fear that that's not necessarily going to lead to the long-term outcome that you are aspiring for. Or you're going to hold on to that secret and you're going to watch the feminine energy move away from you. It's going to feel right now for the masculine energy potentially that if you're trying to come into partnership, if this is the case, a bit like you're caught between a rock and a hard place. You may be feeling a little bit right now like you made a bed that you're being forced to lie in, because we're seeing here that there's something here where you weren't completely upfront. Someone has seen it and they're moving away from you, and also revealing the full transparency of it. You're worried isn't going to create a resolution point. You're worried it may create more chaos. And so you're swinging back and forth between these points right now, trying to figure out what is going to lead to better success. And I need to stress this, and dear God, help me if some of the masculine is considering doing this. A part of you might be considering continuing to double down on the obfuscation point. In which case, I would really advise against that, because we've got the high priestess here. This is a feminine energy that is very keyed in right now to noticing and detecting falsehood. So I would really recommend that you don't do that. I would really recommend you don't do that, please, okay? Please don't do that for your own sake today, because we're seeing here that this is giving like a lot of like someone potentially digging a hole today. We want to avoid that. Masculine and feminine energy in divine union and partnership at this time. Again, this is more of a moment right now that is allowing for some recalibration. There are secrets coming to the surface. There are things that are unknown that are being revealed. But again, there is a viability factor here. There are points that you're recognizing that are allowing for greater productivity and understanding, even while there are anxieties, doubts, and fears coming into play as it relates to like the long-term path ahead. In the divine unions and partnerships, these are open areas to discuss, potentially even discussing how revealing these secrets coming into these points opens up the avenue for deeper fears to be uncovered and fears about the future. But again, giving each other fortification, strength, even at that moment in partnership, stating, I've got your back. I'm not going anywhere. This is something that we can handle each other's secrets because now they are our secrets. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Moon card in combination with our King of Swords in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? clarification coming through right now with our Five of Swords. There is something really important that's happening right now that we are seeing. Again, the energies right now that are trying to come into partnership, this is that moment of addressing. There's something here that's becoming so difficult for the masculine right now if you're trying to come into union and partnership, because it's not just about the present situation or circumstance. It's not just about the present situation or circumstance. The anxiety that's happening right now around the masculine energy that is not revealing something is not the fact that this is something that is new. There may be something, and again, this is why you don't want to have secrets between you and this other energy. It feels like this is a burden that you may have been carrying for some time. It's giving a lot of energy here that the reason the masculine energy may be feeling less than open to revealing this if you're in this modality is it's not just like a quick band-aid moment. You're almost recognizing and seeing the fact that there's something here where you weren't completely fully open about a situation or circumstance, and you're seeing the fact that it's almost going to open up a bit of a box. It's going to require not just a moment of observing the present, but having to look a bit at some of the past, potentially even the last few months. You're almost seeing here the masculine in a way. This is the masculine coming into touch with their own feminine energy. You can almost anticipate where the conversation is going. Where the conversation is going, where it's effectively leading, the path that it is going down. You can almost anticipate and see the fact that this isn't going to have to just be a situation where you reveal one thing. You may be feeling some point of anxiety right now, masculine, because this is almost feeling like a bit of a domino effect here. Especially, I need to stress this, if this is a masculine energy that has been holding or not been completely fully open or upright, as it relates to the connection with the feminine right now, you're effectively even assessing right now if you can open up about these things, almost trying to anticipate what the next question is going to be on the part of the feminine were you to do so. Again, weighing and balancing how much you want this energy in your life versus what you're going to have to give forth on. Because for some of the masculine energy that's in this vibration, this is a whole change for you. And you're almost recognizing that it's not just going to be a simple thing of saying like, I did this one time. This could be something where there's going to have to be some accountability, because whatever this is reverberates a bit into some of the recent past. So the masculine right now that's in this modality, again, this is why you're literally watching a feminine energy walk away from you at this point, potentially having to ask yourself, am I ready to be completely open with this energy, recognizing that by being completely open, I not only have to be open now, but it's going to open the box on anything else recently I haven't been completely forthright about. This is not just a one and done thing. Or is this the masculine energy effectively abandoning hope, watching this energy, watching their object of their desire move away from them, effectively recognizing that this is a moment that feels very bittersweet because it feels like you are letting something go to protect and to preserve your secrets. It may even be a moment right now, masculine energy, where you're recognizing that there is a point right now where you are not ready for divine union, because there's something here that like you're holding so close to your chest that you're watching the thing that you desire or aspire walk away from you rather than opening up about it. Feminine, this is that bittersweet feeling that you're potentially having right now with masculine, because this is either, again, a masculine energy that is showing this conviction, that is coming forward and saying, again, coming into divine union potentially. Coming into divine union saying, and a masculine potentially admitting to you saying, I didn't want to tell you these things because I was scared that you would go away. This is potentially the feminine going, I'm not going to go away as long as you tell them to me. So this is either, again, a masculine energy that is opening up, allowing the possibility of divine union to come forward here, or this is a feminine energy just saying to themselves, I'm letting this go. And it feels open-ended and it feels painful. But looking at a masculine and saying that energy is not confident. It doesn't have the strength to be in divine union and partnership because it is too scared to be open with me. This isn't a feminine energy that even feels like the masculine is doing this from a state of manipulation. They're looking at the masculine in this vibration almost with a sense of pity. Like looking at it saying, I can't believe you're letting what we have together disappear because you're too afraid of being open in this facility, in this faculty. And this is the feminine that's almost like walking away and like almost shaking their head as they walk away, saying it's a pity. I expected more. There's a lot of disappointment here, but the feminine's just looking at the masculine almost with distaste right now and saying, I can't believe you made this choice. Masculine and feminine energy that is in divine union and divine partnership, this is the energy that is supporting one another as these secrets are revealed. As this masculine right now, there could be a lot of unpacking happening today. Masculine, you could be revealing a lot to the feminine and feeling the anxiety in opening up in this way. And what we're effectively seeing right now is the fact that for masculine and feminine, even in partnership at this moment, more than anything, it's almost like a shared burden. It's a collective moment. It's a moment where, again, it's not the fact, because for the feminine, it's not the feminine feeling like masculine is opening up in this degree. It feels like the feminine is experiencing the value and the weight and the significance of masculine being able to open up in this capacity, right? And this is the feminine effectively saying to the masculine and almost affirming to the masculine. This could even be the masculine saying, in the past when I've done this, it's led to bad things. This is almost the feminine potentially in partnership with masculine saying, well, this isn't that, is it? I'm about to show you that this isn't that. So it's almost like that echo chamber of the past opening up, but it's almost reaffirming the masculine why this experience is so different than something that may feel triggering as it relates to fears from the past rising to the surface. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between. Love these cards. Huge cards today. Our High Priestess in combination with our Hanged Man in its reversal. Star in its reversal. This is very interesting. What are we seeing here? And it is going to have a little bit of a different impact depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy right now. Why is the feminine energy right now in a space or place where they're allowing so much accommodation? Why is the feminine energy in divine union and partnership right now in a space or place where they're having so much accommodation for the masculine that is effectively in a space right now where they're being vulnerable, where they're coming into emotional vulnerability, and they're also expressing their fears to the feminine? The feminine energy is saying to the masculine in divine union and partnership, yeah, I feel like that all the time. That's a feminine. This is why the masculine is coming into alignment with the feminine, because the masculine is saying, it's really hard for me to be this vulnerable. It's like I'm telling you things. I'm telling you these secrets about myself. It feels very liberating, but it's also really scary. And this is the feminine effectively looking at the masculine like this, almost like this is the feminine being like, welcome to my life. Like this is literally feminine going, welcome to my life. The feminine's like, I know. The feminine is effectively looking and identifying and saying, there's no vibration where I am going to judge you because you're telling me that you're opening up in a way that makes you feel scared because you're telling me secrets. Feminine's effectively saying, like, that is the feminine experience. Like, feminine is like, I am all too aware of what that feels like. This is almost the feminine guiding the masculine energy through that journey by articulating upon their own past and being like, yeah, I know. This is what it's like. And potentially for the masculine, again, this is why you're potentially coming into better alignment with your feminine right now if you're in divine union and partnership, because you're seeing that connection point with the feminine that's helping you articulate those times and those moments why it's so hard for the feminine to sometimes be vulnerable and open in this capacity. Again, the only hardship here is the fact that the feminine energy in this modality right now may be feeling a little less able to be in your most vulnerable expression today due to the fact that you recognize that the masculine needs you to step up in this way. There could even be something, I need to point out, that was potentially a little triggering yesterday for the feminine. The feminine may be feeling right now not as open or available to disclose that fully to masculine right now, due to the fact that they see that, again, like a good union and partnership, feminine is recognizing what the masculine needs right now from the feminine, that the feminine is working to provide. And the feminine, we like to see this. This is the second day of the feminine energies in this high priestess, maintaining a point of spiritual connection, higher logic, that's helping you really guide both yourself and the masculine through any of the rough energy we've seen over the last couple of days. Masculine and feminine energy that is trying to come into divine union and partnership, this is it. Again, this eclipse cycle is either just bringing about the closure of cycles, the ending of possibilities into coming into partnership or divine union, or it's actually leading to divine union. We like seeing this. It's literally either one or the other right now, because this is, again, a moment. Feminine is walking away from masculine. Feminine is just straight up walking away. They're not even looking back. Why? Because the feminine energy, having experienced or witnessed a space or place where they feel like the masculine energy was not completely forward and upfront with them, is going through a moment right now where they are affirming to themselves that they are hitting that impossible wall, where they are doing what they know is right because they've seen things that they cannot unsee. This is feminine energy carrying knowledge about a situation. It's not even knowledge that the feminine wants. It's just the fact that feminine has seen something they can't unsee around a situation. Feminine energy is effectively saying that they're doing what they need to do in light of what they've seen, either metaphysically or in some practical way based on the actions of the masculine right now. And they're also feeling like they can't be open to the fat masculine energy. Why? Because the feminine energy has observed a moment where they feel the masculine energy is intentionally keeping things from them, which is making it impossible for the feminine energy to feel like they can be completely vulnerable and open to this masculine energy. Because the feminine is feeling vulnerable and wounded and closing off from a masculine energy that they feel in some way has almost intentionally or inadvertently deceived them. Masculine, this is effectively you weighing what to do at this moment, because you are feeling the fact, again, if you are trying to come into partnership, that this is an energy that is effectively breaking away from you. And it has nothing to do with the way that the energy feels. It has everything to do with the fact that the energy itself is in a space or place where they feel like they're doing the right thing and they don't feel like they can be vulnerable and open to you at this time. You are watching this energy move away from you, and you're potentially trying to decide what to do. The problem here is, again, there's some anxiety at play right now because you're feeling like this energy is so distant that you know that they want you to be open, but now you're almost worried about what the feminine energy will do if you open up right now. This is why I'm feeling, to a certain degree, a lot of the masculine energies may be feeling like it's a bridge too far at this point, because you're feeling such a cold shoulder from this feminine at this point. It's not encouraging you to feel like it's a safe environment to open up at this time. That's why I was saying, like, you may be feeling like right now, like the anxiety of something, feeling like the place or the space to be open may feel like it's past, because you don't even know if the feminine energy would be open or available to hearing the explanation at this time, because you're almost seeing the fact that this energy is like intentionally moving away from you to such a degree. It's almost not even creating a space of being able to be open at this time, because the feminine energy is like not even asking you for it. It's almost requiring you to bring it forth right now. Also trusting your intuition and knowing that this is why this feminine energy is moving away from you. Like, it's almost requiring that. It's almost you having to like step into the gap between and voluntarily provide this energy to the feminine, because this feminine's already walking away and you're effectively potentially deducing that this is the reason why. But again, it's taking a lot of courage to be able to do that, and you're realizing how much of yourself you're going to have to open up to be able to save this energy right now. Masculine and feminine energy in partnership right now. This is, again, just a moment of, again, feminine supporting the masculine through a moment, not necessarily being able to be in the same exact modality, but recognizing that this is what the masculine needs right now. Continuing to get clarification between our hangman in its reversal in combination with our 10 of cups in its reversal. As all the cards fall to the floor. Well, we've got the one card here. That was the card that came out, and it is our Queen of Cups in its reversal. So now we're starting to see a little bit of the feminine energy coming to the surface here, okay? Now, masculine and feminine energy right now, one of the hardest moments that's occurring right now has to do, even in partnership right now, there may be a feeling that is occurring with the fact that the masculine energy is coming into such a space and place of balance. There's so much that the masculine is potentially revealing to the feminine right now. The only issue that we're potentially seeing in partnership at this moment that may need to be navigated is potentially the feeling of the feminine going through some point of overwhelm right now and not necessarily wanting to completely burden the masculine with it, is what we're almost seeing here. There is something here that's potentially being identified as it relates to the feminine moving in this vibration right now, even in partnership at this moment, that is kind of identifying some spaces or places that the feminine energy may feel like they need to like come into better alignment with masculine. Because what we are identifying here that could potentially happen is there could be some kind of moment right now of the masculine reaching such a vulnerability point, opening up about so many things hidden, that there may be something here that does rock the feminine a little bit here. But the feminine energy may be feeling some point of anxiety in terms of how to express it, for fear of not wanting to like move the masculine energy out of this like alignment with their own emotional center. So we're almost seeing right now the fact that even for the feminine energy that is in partnership right now, there could be a feeling about emotional discretion today, as you may experience something that does kind of rock you a little bit in terms of what the masculine is articulating. But like, you're giving yourself some space or place of a balance point, because we're seeing here that, again, this is a feminine energy that is trying to be very conscientious in terms of thinking about like the long-term path or the long-term goal as it relates to the energy and partnership. Masculine, you may be feeling a lot of anxiety today that something that you are revealing is going to bring the feminine energy into a space or place of feeling some of this emotional upheaval. This could be why the masculine is moving so cautiously right now, potentially expressing this fear to the feminine, while the feminine may be trying to reaffirm to the masculine that this is not necessarily the case, even while there may be something that the feminine is trying to like recalibrate for internally at this time. Masculine and feminine energy that is trying to come into partnership right now. This is effectively it. The feminine energy is not moving away from this from a point of view of feeling satisfied. This is something where the feminine energy is extremely torn up, extremely emotionally hurt right now. The thing is, they're not expressing or showing this right now potentially to the masculine if this is the case right now. Because again, there's almost a moment that the feminine is potentially observing right now where it's a frustration of feeling, again, like there's something here that was taken away from them, that they're moving away from something that wasn't necessarily going to build on their manifestation goal because there was some kind of evidence of something not necessarily being revealed here. If the feminine isn't getting the clarity on this, the feminine's just moving away from it, but the feminine's really upset about it because it's creating that sense of cynicism and doubt about someone coming forward in a way that is going to allow for that long-term manifestation goal to come into play. Feminine is affirming and helping to come back into that manifestation goal by moving away from anything they feel is not in alignment to it, but they're also feeling very emotionally caught up in the process. Masculine, you may be feeling right now, if there's a feminine energy that's moving away from you, you may be seeing the fact that this is an energy that feels like not only are they withdrawing from you, not only are they giving you the cold shoulder, not only are they not opening up to you, but they're not necessarily even revealing their feelings. You're potentially feeling the full brunt of the fact that there's a feminine here that is seeing and feeling like you were not completely upfront about something. And that's almost like that's all she wrote. That's why I stress to the energy not to do anything in a vacuum right now, to make sure that you are creating that clarity point between the feminine energy, because this is feminine just looking at something and being like, I've seen all I need to see. I don't understand what I'm seeing. It's just weird enough that feminine's just doing this. This is all feminine's been doing over the last week, ever since that first eclipse happened. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our 10 of Cups in its reversal in combination with our 5 of Swords. May I please have one card to clarify? Masculine energy, King of Pentacles. Again, for the masculine energy that is seeing the feminine energy in this vibration, you are recognizing right now potentially that you've got one of 2 different choices right now. This is either, again, of masculine energy trying to come into partnership at this moment. This is that moment of observing and saying to yourself, the only way I can get feminine back here is if I am completely, put all my cards on the table. If I am able to show them everything that I want, if I'm able to be completely articulate on what's been occurring. And you may even be feeling masculine. This could be the thing the masculine's trying to do at this point. This could be the masculine trying to recalibrate in such a way that they bring these things to the attention of the feminine in such a way that it doesn't feel like the masculine was keeping it from the feminine, but almost masculine is almost trying to present this in a way of trying to say, well, I was always going to tell you these things. This is, again, more of that masculine trying to build into that space and place of saying, like, I was doing this for us. Remember, I keep saying that, like, energy of, like, I was doing this for us. I was obviously going to tell you. I was obviously going to do this thing. Again, masculine, making sure that you're coming from a space and place of being emotionally open and honest right now is going to be very important, because this is a feminine that can see through things right now. This is a feminine that can see through charades. Make sure that you're not trying to play charades with anyone. Make sure that you're trying to be very upfront, because this is almost a masculine trying to bring things back into the practical space. But it is going to be that point where, again, the feminine is going to hold the masculine to this and say, you need to take some accountability for this. So this is either the masculine energy, again, coming into accountability, coming into forthrightness, coming into the confidence of saying, I'm ready to present these things to you. I'm ready to let you in. Even recognizing at this point, there's almost a masculine energy that's coming into this modality that you may be feeling like you're doing this right now because you're recognizing that you feel like you have nothing left to lose. This is like a masculine energy that's effectively saying that there's nothing left to lose, that the possibility of this going south has already gone south. So this is a masculine saying, I'm going to tell you everything now. Potentially recognizing that this is the only thing that could potentially save something right now. While for the feminine, the other part of the masculine energy right now, this is that moment that we're effectively seeing that you are potentially coming into acceptance with the choice that you made. That there may be something that the feminine is articulating to you. I told you, it feels very much like that speech that Scrooge gets from his girlfriend in the Christmas Carol, of saying, you chose them over me. You chose your world over me. You chose the protection and the sanctity of my world, like of your world over us. This is a masculine energy that may be experiencing this from the feminine right now, and the masculine trying to come to terms with the choice that they made. Trying to hold on to what they have right now and tell yourself that it was too great a risk. That to open up in that capacity was too great a risk, i.e. coming back into autonomy. And potentially, though, a little bit more aware of the fact that there may be a part of you that does not truly desire divine union because of this anxiety in terms of fully opening up, fully showing and sharing your world with another person. Masculine and feminine energy that is in partnership or in divine union right now. This is more of that moment that we're seeing that the partnership continues to be able to navigate any hurdle that is thrown at it. Because it is not the fact that there isn't some anxiety about the future or some things that need to be recalibrated about the past in terms of being looked at right now. Masculine is doing this right now with an energy of a feminine that is not shaken by doing this type of work. Even when this energy is feeling emotionally shaken, they don't allow themselves to be visibly shaken. There's almost something about the masculine feeling like their feminine energy has an ability or a degree to navigate their own emotionality from a space of logic and higher insight that the masculine values in the partnership itself. And this is what is continuing to build this stability for the masculine in the sense, even as they're doing a lot of this unpacking. Feminine, you yourself could be going through a moment right now where we are effectively experiencing and seeing the fact that there are some things that may be coming through right now, even in the partnership, that are shaking your own feeling or anxiety about the future. It's also making some things about the past have to be viewed and observed. But again, we're seeing that you are also doing this work with the feeling of a masculine energy that is doing everything it can to support you in the process of that. This is like that mutual unpacking that the partnership is providing each energy. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Star in its reversal in combination with our Queen of Cups in its reversal. This is some of that emotionally heavy energy we may be seeing coming through right now for some of the feminine energy today. This is the release process. This is the release process. And this is really, really important right now, because what we're effectively seeing is the fact that for the feminine energy, this is the moment that some of this feeling of anxiety that's coming through, some of this emotional overwhelm is almost coming through right now because you're freeing yourself from the confines of some circumstances or situations. This is what the eclipse process is bringing out in the feminine, and it's going to feel a little bit shaky. It's going to feel a little ungrounded because there's something about this right now that may be feeling almost like a bit of a liberation energy that is coming into this right now. For the feminine and masculine energy right now, I need to stress, even in partnership, this may feel like a little bit of ungrounding right now, because there could be a feeling right now that's happening in the partnership where the feminine effectively realizes that this is a masculine energy that will allow them a breadth of possibility to do anything. But the problem with this right now is the fact that even with that feeling of doing anything that they desire, it almost creates some feelings of anxiety in the feminine right now, because it's almost helping the feminine energy knock over a lot of their own walls, a lot of their own personal limitations in partnership, that is creating this like space or place for the feminine that it's interesting. Like, it's not creating a space or place where the feminine's actually like, you know, running off and doing anything that they want. It's almost coming in a moment where feminine wants to do the opposite. Feminine's like, I know I could do anything I want right now. I know I've got that support system around me. But ironically, it's creating like the opposite feeling where it's like the feminine is just kind of like, you know, these walls that are coming down are within their own mind. Like, feminine's not stressed right now about being in a confining relationship. They're more like stressed about the idea of like pushing past the confines of their own sense of self at this moment. This is coming through with like potentially a lot of processing of unhealed trauma, a lot of kind of dealing with a lot of emotional overwhelm on an internal level right now, feeling very triggered, even in partnership, but appreciating the partnership and recognizing that the partnership is exactly why the feminine energy is feeling triggered, because they can do this type of unpacking there. The safe space. It's a safe space to like unravel, if you will, like to take your guard down. Masculine, you may be seeing this right now on the point of view of the feminine, and you may be even recognizing that by your own coming into like your own alignment right now. You're doing this for your own self. You may be seeing that the feminine, to a certain degree, is also in that modality and that vibration. You guys are almost matching each other right now. But again, you may be saying to the feminine over and over again that you're trying to create a space or place where they don't need to hold these things in, that you want to be present to allow them to have that type of experience. Masculine and feminine energy trying to come into partnership right now. This is the feminine energy breaking away from something that was trying to hide something from them. This is the feminine energy that is at a moment that this is not an easy process for the feminine, because this is almost shaking the feminine's feeling again of whether they'll be able to find this at all, The feminine is moving away from this experience, focusing on what they're trying to manifest, but they're also feeling the anxiety about the possibility of being able to manifest it. They're doubting their own ability to do so, but at the same time, they're refusing to stay in a space or place where they're not finding it. So this is going to have like a lot of that internal work right now for a feminine that's feeling both the overwhelm, potentially even like going a little bit disassociative today, feminine, if you're breaking away from some energy in this capacity right now, because you're feeling like there's not a space or place where you can be vulnerable and open, but you're just making sure you're reminding yourself right now that you don't want to be in a situation or circumstance where you just feel like someone is keeping you as a partner for the sake of being a partner with you instead of actually being in divine union and partnership. This is the feminine energy that's almost looking at something and saying, I love you, but absolutely not. I'm not going to be with you under these terms. I'm not going to be with you under these conditions. Whereas the feminine is effectively looking at a circumstance or situation when having to effectively say I'm okay with all of these secrets, all of these hidden things. Feminine saying, I can't do that. But it's really hard for the feminine to accept that in the process. Masculine, again, there's only one path forward towards this energy right now. There's only one path forward towards this energy. And you would have to be completely open and honest. The problem right now that's happening right now for masculine, and again, I'm not going to say this is all masculine, but we did see the fact that for some of the masculine energy, one of the reasons that you were trying to create a bit of this wall around some of this feminine energy that you're trying to come into partnership with is because you are trying to obfuscate or protect something else in your life right now. This is, again, either a moment with the masculine where you may be putting a lot of consideration into what you weren't telling the feminine that created that blocker, and potentially recognizing and identifying exactly why you didn't want to be completely open and honest with them, especially if there was some third-party energy around some circumstances and situations. This is potentially what we're effectively seeing right now, that some of the masculine energy was trying to create some of that space from a feminine, even if they were doing it for the sake of the partnership. This could be the anxiety about having to be completely open about something to do with some outside energy around you, because this could be more than one feminine energy. This could also be feeling right now, masculine, if you're in this space, that you're starting to feel like you're in a rock and a hard place, because you're feeling the fact that not just one energy is pulling away from you right now. You may be feeling like both of the energies are pulling away. More struggle points right now for the energy that is in separation, trying to come into partnership, because again, this is either a masculine energy that is recognizing that the only way to come fully forward to a feminine is effectively having to reveal something that you haven't revealed before, not being sure how they will take it, or this is a moment that, again, you are conceding the fact that you effectively are moved away, that this is an energy that's moving away because they see it as you having tried to protect something instead of the partnership. And this is the masculine, again, either trying to free themselves by divulging to the feminine so that you can go into divine union and partnership at this time. Or this is masculine energy just going right back into absolute autonomy. This is a masculine energy that may be almost feeling to a certain weird degree that all of the feminine energy around them is in this modality again, because this has potentially happened before, because again, there's something here that the masculine, you're being kind of called to task to make sure that you weren't repeating cycles. There may be something here that feels like a bit of a cycle repeating. Masculine and feminine energy, continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Queen of Cups in its reversal in combination with our King of Pentacles. Clarification coming through right now with our Four of Swords. Masculine and feminine energy right now in partnership. This is beautiful. Again, this is almost creating a feeling of catharsis. Feminine is in a space or place where they may not necessarily feel like they can be completely emotionally open to masculine, but it's okay. Why? Because the feminine energy doesn't feel any degree of expediency. Feminine's almost looking at something and being like, I'll have a moment to unpack something with them later, right? Especially if the masculine needs the feminine in this capacity today. Masculine is feeling the strength and support of a feminine energy that they also recognize is there, that creates spaces and places for the masculine to be ready to unpack things. This is the beauty of the partnership. The time becomes a bit of the catharsis point. It allows for periods of rest. It doesn't feel like everything is hanging on like the edge of a cliff all the time. Masculine and feminine energy right now trying to come into partnership. This is effectively masculine. There may be a moment right now where you're seeing the feminine energy is at such a point of distance from you that you may be considering opening up to this feminine, but you may be trying to utilize time. Because there's something about where you see the feminine energy right now that you see that they are emotionally cutting off from you. I need to stress, if you're in this modality, masculine, this is not necessarily a situation where time was working to your advantage before. This is potentially you looking at a feminine energy that is in a point of emotional distance or anger. And effectively saying, maybe if I give them some time, they won't be in that modality. I need to stress that if you're experiencing this right now, this is a feminine energy that does not, thank you for the gift, need time. They need truth. If the truth isn't going to change over time, then there's nothing about this right now that the feminine isn't going to effectively desire. The problem with the feminine right now, and this is what I mean with the feminine energy almost knows that this is going to happen. The feminine energy is potentially looking at a masculine. If they're not coming back, if they're not responding, if they're not answering the feminine's question, the feminine's looking at the masculine and going, he's not gone. He's going to try to wait this out to see if I get in a better mood. This is, again, the feminine energy knows what the masculine may be trying to do here, which is why I'm saying the masculine, don't think that giving something a rest is going to make it better here, because this is a feminine that's actually looking at you and saying, I know what he's going to do next. He's going to try to take a few days to see if I'm in a better mood. This is not a situation that is happening. This is a feminine that's observing the masculine doing that. It's almost more shaking the head, because the feminine's looking at a masculine in this modality and going, I've seen this before. It's not time that feminine needs here. It's truth. That's why the feminine's like, he thinks we need time. It's not something that can be fixed with time. Feminine's moving forward right now. Masculine, you're looking at feminine going, I don't want to tell her the truth. Maybe if I just give it some time, I won't have to. And the answer to that, especially if you've gone through this cycle before, is definitively no. That's not going to fix this. Continuing to get clarification on these cards. Final card in our spread for today. Clarification between our, just bear with me one moment. Clarification between our Eight of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Four of Swords. Heavy energy we are ending our day off with today. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Wheel of Fortune in its reversal. Blockages. Karmic blockages. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now, even in partnership, there could be a feeling of frustration that's effectively happening. But again, I'm not actually seeing this. This isn't going to come through as much as a point of frustration for masculine and feminine energy right now if you're in partnership. There could be a moment that's happening right now that may be feeling like things have kind of slowed down to a certain extent. But this could almost be a mutual desire right now in partnership to slow things down. What could be happening in partnership right now is almost a feeling that things are happening too quickly, that there's too much to do, there's too many activities happening, and it's being weighed versus like all of the possibilities versus the need to rest, which is almost coming through right now as masculine and feminine in partnership, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to, in looking at each other and saying, I just wish we could slow everything down. I wish we could have more time to enjoy things. I wish we could just like ease everything here. It's like the slowdown isn't a detriment for the energy in partnership and union, because it's more about you guys hitting this like sweet spot and being like, everything's happening so quickly. I feel like we just don't have enough time to like really get to savor and enjoy everything that's coming towards us so fast. While for masculine and feminine energy that is trying to come into partnership, this is a karmic block. This is a repetition that does not feel productive or positive. This is feeling like a point of deep frustration. For feminine right now, this is potentially having to walk away from something because someone was not open and honest with you, that you may be getting very frustrated on, because you're potentially feeling like it is the repetition of a cycle. That's why the feminine is just walking away from this instead of trying to fix this, because this is a feminine energy saying, I've heard this one before. I've seen this before. This isn't new. The feminine energy is building a lot of this collective wisdom on the experiences that they've had from this time, which is why it's potentially feeling like such a point of the feminine getting so upset and not wanting to work it out with the masculine, because the feminine's already looking at past circumstances and situations and saying, there's nothing to fix here. I know how this works. I know what I can do. I know what you can do. Dead stop. Masculine, if you're going through this right now, there may be a feeling that you're having. You might be scratching your head going, why is this happening again? Why is this energy? Why is it that we keep going through these stops and starts? Why is this energy always trying to get away from me? And then there's time and then it's back. This is why, because this feminine energy, this is a repeating of a cycle, because this is effectively you showing in some indication right now that you don't necessarily understand what the divine union is. That there's something here that requires this readjustment period, because the only way to come into divine union is if you're completely open and honest. And really, this is almost showing like a karmic blockage here that may feel like a bit of a pattern repeating if you're in some spaces and in some places where you're weighing being completely open with an energy versus coming into partnership. Bottom of the deck on today's reading is 9 of Pentacles. There is a point of frustration that's coming through right now for all the energies. This makes a lot of sense, guys. We are between 2 eclipses, so there's that feeling of potential overwhelm, maybe some of that like static electricity energy. There is a moment right now in terms of assessing what comfort truly looks like. For masculine and feminine energy, even in partnership right now, we keep seeing there could be some return about talking about your immediate environment, any kind of alterations and changes that might be accommodated for that would allow for some greater easement as it relates to your day-to-day. This came through yesterday, is popping up today. Potentially may feel more practical in the realm of the divine partnership energy. Masculine and feminine coming into partnership right now. It's all about what you're comfortable with. Feminine is observing a masculine right now that may be articulating in many different ways about how they feel towards the feminine. But there's something about the feminine trying to say to the masculine, what you feel has very little import if it makes me be in a space or place that is uncomfortable or painful. Like feminine's looking at masculine being like, you could put me in a prison cell. You could put me in a cage and tell me that you were keeping me there because you love me. This has very little to do with the feminine as it relates to the masculine articulating their feelings right now. And everything about the feminine needing to see what that actually looks like in the practical perspective to ensure that the feminine will actually be able to be in a space or place that feels comfortable for them. Masculine, this is effectively a moment that is potentially frightening you, because we are seeing here that there's the weighing right now between the comfort that you have created for yourself in this moment, the world you have around you, versus letting someone else in, and feeling the inherent risk that when you let someone in, when you open up completely, you give them some kind of power or some kind of authority over what that looks like, what the shape of that is. And this is a moment for a lot of the masculine energy. There's that deeper question about whether you truly desire divine union or not, because it is that moment that, again, you have to relinquish a portion of your autonomy. You can't just do what feels comfortable. You have to do what feels comfortable for both of you, as opposed to what just feels comfortable for you. that is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it with me. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. My private readings are done over video, and if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just making sure you mention your subscriber ID at the point of payment. Please keep in mind that booking a reading on my site is a two-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you would like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never reach out to you for a reading. I will never inbox you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your DMs and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. I want to thank you guys so much for being here with me today and sharing with me in these readings. And we will do this again tomorrow.